All right, everybody, welcome back. Today, we're going to be diving into something that affects every single one of us.
Let me guess.
Healthcare data.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
It is a big one. And I think we can all relate to this, right? Like, transferring medical records, trying to navigate all these different patient portals.
Yeah, it's like your information is scattered everywhere.
Exactly. It's so frustrating. Wouldn't it be amazing if all these systems could just, I don't know, talk to each other?
Right. And that's where interoperability comes in, like getting different systems to communicate seamlessly. That's the dream, right?
Absolutely. And the hero of our story today is something called a FHIR server.
FHIR server. Oh, okay. I know what you mean. Fast healthcare interoperability resources. But yeah, everyone just calls them FHIR servers.
Exactly.
Basically platforms that store and share healthcare data using like a common language.
Exactly. And we've got some really insightful material from an expert who just goes deep on FHIR servers. So we're going to unpack how they work, why they're such a game changer, and even get a glimpse into the future of all this.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig into that.
Me too. So let's start with the basics. Like, why were FHIR servers even developed in the first place?
Well, for years, healthcare systems have been stuck with these old, like really clunky technologies, right?
Yeah, they just couldn't communicate with each other.
Exactly. It's like trying to, I don't know, send a text message from an iPhone to one of those old flip phones from like the early 2000s. It's not going to work.
Makes sense. So how does FHIR change that?
It's all about using modern web technologies, stuff that developers are already familiar with, things like RESTful APIs and JSON.
Oh, okay. So it's like a common language for healthcare data.
Exactly. It makes it so much easier to build applications that can actually share data.
That's huge. But let's back up a second. What exactly is a FHIR server? I mean, can you give us like a simple explanation?
Sure. Think of it like a central hub for all your medical information. It securely stores your data and then makes it accessible to authorized systems and applications.
Okay, that makes sense.
The expert we were talking about earlier, they had this great example. Imagine you're visiting a new clinic for the first time right now.
Okay.
With a FHIR server, they can instantly access your complete medical history. Allergies, medications, past diagnoses, everything, even if you've never been there before.
Wow, that's impressive.
Right. That's interoperability in action. Streamlines care, reduces errors, and everyone has the info they need when they need it.
That's so much better than faxing papers back and forth.
Oh, yeah. And it's not just about storage. FHIR servers also manage your data. They support what we call CRU operations.
CRU operations, what's that?
Create, read, update, and delete.
Oh, okay. So it's like managing the data, keeping it up to date.
Exactly. So say you go to a new doctor and they need to add your information to the system. That's a create. Read allows them to access your existing records. Update is for making changes, like when you start a new medication. And delete is for removing outdated or incorrect info.
Gotcha. So they're like the ultimate data organizers.
Pretty much. But how do all these systems, like hospitals, pharmacies, even your phone, how do they understand each other?
Right. Good question.
That's where RESTful APIs come in. Remember how we were talking about FHIR using familiar web technologies?
Yeah.
Well, RESTful APIs let different systems communicate using the same language, even if they're built on completely different platforms.
It's like a universal translator for computers.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. These APIs use standard methods like get, post, put, and delete. That's the backbone of how the web talks to itself. That's why FHIR has been so good at breaking down those old barriers to interoperability.
That's really cool. So FHIR servers act as central hubs for healthcare data and use RESTful APIs to let different systems communicate.
Got it.
But are all FHIR servers the same?
Good question. There are actually two main types, repository servers and Facade servers.
Okay, what's the difference?
A repository server is built specifically for FHIR. Think of it like designing a brand new house with all the latest features.
Okay.
Everything's optimized for FHIR from the ground up.
Gotcha. What about Facade servers?
A Facade server is more like renovating an old house to meet modern standards.
Okay.
It sits on top of existing healthcare databases without requiring a complete overhaul.
So it's a way to bring those older systems into the FHIR world.
Exactly. It allows organizations to make their existing data FHIR compliant and accessible, which is a huge step in improving interoperability.
That's really smart. Okay, so we know what FHIR servers are, how they work, and the different types. But now let's talk about why you, the listener, should care about FHIR servers. What are the benefits?
This is where it gets really exciting. First of all, FHIR servers can lead to faster app development.
How so?
Because the data is standardized and readily accessible through APIs, Developers can create new healthcare applications much more quickly.
Oh, that makes sense. So quicker innovation, basically.
Precisely. We're talking more innovative tools and services for patients and providers alike. And since these applications can easily integrate with other systems,
Yeah.
you start to see a truly connected healthcare ecosystem emerge. Data can flow seamlessly between hospitals, clinics, pharmacies, labs, and even your personal health apps on your phone.
Wow, that's a game changer. No more chasing down records or trying to remember every little detail.
Right. And it's not just about convenience. FHIR servers also enhance data security. They have built-in mechanisms to make sure sensitive health information is only accessible to authorized individuals.
Okay, so peace of mind for patients.
Exactly. FHIR servers are like data guardians, protecting your privacy while making that data more accessible and useful.
This is revolutionary.
It is. It has the potential to really transform healthcare, from improving patient care to accelerating medical research.
Wow. Okay, I definitely want to hear more about those real-world applications and what the future holds for FHIR servers. But let's take a quick pause. We'll be right back to explore even more of these fascinating aspects of FHIR servers and the exciting possibilities they unlock.
So you want to talk about those real-world use cases, where FHIR servers are already making a difference.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it would be great to kind of see how this stuff is actually playing out.
Right, let's make it concrete. So first up, the most obvious one. Electronic health records, EHRs.
Yeah, EHRs. Those systems that doctors and hospitals use,
Yeah.
they felt kind of stuck in the past, haven't they?
You're not wrong. It feels like they haven't really kept up with the times, you know? But with FHIR servers, EHRs are getting a major upgrade.
How so?
Well, you think about it, different hospitals, different EHR systems, it's been a nightmare trying to share patient information.
Yeah, I've even heard stories, like horror stories, of patients going to the ER and the doctors have no clue about their allergies or what meds they're on, just because the records are stuck in some other system somewhere else.
And that's exactly what FHIR servers are designed to prevent. They let all these different EHR systems talk to each other, exchange data without any hiccups. So doctors can coordinate care better, avoid those scary mistakes, and ultimately, provide better, safer treatment.
That's really reassuring. Like, your medical info actually follows you wherever you go.
Precisely. It's putting the patient at the center, giving them access to their own data.
That's powerful. So what are some other ways that FHIR servers are empowering patients, like giving them more control?
Okay, well, think about all those health apps you've got on your phone. Tracking steps, sleep, reminding you to take your pills, stuff like that.
Yeah, guilty as charged. I got a few of those myself.
Well, with FHIR APIs, these apps can actually connect directly with your healthcare providers.
Oh, wow. So they're not just these isolated things anymore.
Nope. They become part of your overall health picture. You can share data with your doctors in real time.
Okay, hold on. So imagine someone's managing diabetes. They can track their blood sugar with an app and share that data, like live, with their doctor through the FHIR server.
Exactly. And the doctor can adjust their treatment plan right away based on that real-time feedback. It's game-changing for chronic conditions.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so we've talked about EHRs, patient empowerment. What about the bigger picture, like medical research? How are FHIR servers impacting that?
Oh, that's a huge one. Think about all the data that healthcare generates. We're talking patient records, lab results, clinical trials, even genomic information.
It's mind-boggling, the amount of information, and most of it's just siloed away.
Right, inaccessible to researchers. But FHIR servers can change that. They allow secure data sharing for research. So researchers can tap into these massive, diverse data sets.
Oh, so they can do better research, find better treatments.
Faster discoveries, more effective treatments, better health outcomes for everyone. That's the goal.
This is amazing. So it's not just individual care. It's about accelerating progress overall.
Exactly, and that's just the beginning. As FHIR servers get more widely adopted, we're going to see a wave of innovation in healthcare. Things like personalized medicine, predictive analytics, even AI-powered tools to help doctors make better decisions.
Okay, now that's getting into some really futuristic stuff. But before we go there, I'm curious.
Yeah.
With all this data sharing, how do we make sure it's all done securely, responsibly? This is sensitive health information, after all.
You're right, that's a huge concern. But the good news is security is built into the core of FHIR servers from the ground up.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, first off, FHIR servers use strong authentication and authorization mechanisms. So only the right people and systems can get to the data. Think multiple layers of security.
Okay, so not just some basic username and password.
No. We're talking industry standard stuff like OAuth 2 and OpenID Connect. These are the same technologies that Google and Facebook use to protect your data.
So these are tried and true methods.
Absolutely. And FHIR servers also use encryption, both when data is moving and when it's stored.
So even if someone did manage to get in, the data would be useless to them.
Exactly. Without the right decryption keys, it's just gibberish. And to top it off, FHIR servers use audit trails.
Audit trails. What are those?
It means every action on the server is logged and tracked. So accessing, modifying, deleting data, it's all recorded.
So there's a clear record of who did what when.
Yep. Full accountability. Essential for maintaining trust, making sure data is handled responsibly.
That does make me feel a lot better, knowing all those safeguards are in place. It sounds like a really comprehensive approach to security.
It is. And as FHIR servers evolve, you can bet those security features are going to keep getting even stronger.
Keeping pace with the bad guys, right?
You got it. It's a constant evolution. But I think it's really impressive how FHIR servers are tackling this dual challenge, right? Making data accessible, but also keeping it locked down.
Yeah, it's like walking that tightrope. But he seemed to be doing a pretty good job.
I think so too. It shows the real commitment, from developers, healthcare professionals, security experts, all working together to make this interoperable healthcare ecosystem not just functional, but truly secure.
Well, we've covered so much. EHRs, patient empowerment, research, even security. It feels like FHIR servers are impacting everything.
They really are. They're changing the very foundation of healthcare.
Okay, but now let's get practical. Let's say an organization is listening to this and they're thinking, wow, we got to get on board with this FHIR server thing. Where do they even start?
That's a great question, because implementing FHIR servers, it's a journey, not like flipping a switch. And the first step is really understanding your needs. What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve?
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right. Every organization is going to have their own unique setup, their own challenges, things like the size of the organization, the kind of data they work with, their existing tech, even their budget, all that matters.
So it sounds like there's a lot to think about before diving in. Where would you even begin?
Well, one of the first big decisions is, do you build your own FHIR server in-house, or do you go with a managed solution from a third-party provider?
Okay, let's break that down. What are the pros and cons of each approach?
So building in-house, it gives you a ton of control. You can customize it exactly the way you need, but it also requires some serious technical chocks, especially if you're dealing with complex data stuff or security requirements.
Not for the faint of heart, I guess.
Right. And it can be expensive. Now, managed solutions, they're way more convenient. Someone else handles all the technical stuff. You basically get a FHIR server delivered, ready to go.
Sounds pretty tempting, honestly. But I imagine there are trade-offs with that, too.
Of course, you're essentially handing over your data and your infrastructure to someone else. And you might not have as much flexibility to customize things the way you'd like.
Okay, so control versus convenience, classic trade-off.
Exactly. It all comes down to your priorities, your resources, and then once you've figured out the deployment, there are other things to consider, like compliance with all those healthcare regulations, scalability, because your data is probably going to grow over time. How do you make sure the FHIR server can handle that? Integration with your existing systems. And of course, cost always comes into play.
It does sound like a bit of a juggling act.
It can be, but I really believe the potential benefits of FHIR servers, they outweigh the challenges of getting them set up.
You're a true believer.
I am. And the good news is, you don't have to do it all alone. There's a lot of support out there.
Really? Like what?
Well, HL7, the organization behind FHIR, they have a ton of info on their website, the specs, implementation guides, even a directory of companies that can help.
Oh, that's useful.
Right. And there are online communities, forums where people share their experiences, tips and tricks, all that. And then you've got healthcare IT vendors, consulting firms who specialize in this stuff. They can guide you, provide support, even help you migrate your data and get everything connected properly.
So there's a whole FHIR ecosystem out there.
It really is. It's a testament to how much momentum FHIR has. The healthcare industry, they're starting to get it, They're seeing how powerful interoperability can be. And FHIR servers are a big part of making that happen.
This has been incredibly informative. We've learned so much about how FHIR servers work, the benefits, the challenges, the whole implementation side of things. But there's one more area I want to touch on before we wrap things up.
Shoot.
The future. What's coming next for FHIR servers? How are they going to keep shaping the healthcare landscape? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Oh man, the future is wide open. And I think it's incredibly exciting. We're already seeing so much innovation, and it's just going to keep accelerating. One area where I see huge potential is personalized medicine.
Personalized medicine.
Yep. Tailoring treatments to each individual's genes, lifestyle, all that. It's been talked about for a while, but now it's starting to become real. And FHIR servers are going to be a big part of that because they can bring together all that data, genomic data, clinical data, even data from your wearables.
So it's like having a complete 360-degree view of the patient, right?
Precisely. Doctors can make better decisions, treatments can be more targeted, more effective. It's a whole new level of care.
Wow, that's incredible. And what about preventive care? Can FHIR servers help with that too?
Oh, absolutely. By analyzing all that data, we can start to identify people who are at risk for certain conditions, even before they show any symptoms.
So it's not just treating people when they're sick, it's about keeping them healthy in the first place.
Exactly. And that's a huge paradigm shift. Early intervention can make all the difference. Better health outcomes, lower costs, better quality of life for everyone.
I love that vision. But I'm also thinking about artificial intelligence, AI. How does that fit into the future of FHIR servers?
Oh, that's a great question. AI and FHIR servers, they're like the perfect match because AI algorithms, they need data. And FHIR servers provide access to tons of it. Structured, standardized healthcare data, ready for analysis.
So it's like feeding the AI beast, right?
Hmm.
What kind of things could we do with that?
Oh, the possibilities are endless. AI could analyze patient data to find patterns and predict outcomes, like who's most likely to develop certain diseases or who might have complications. That allows for early intervention, personalized care plans.
That's mind-blowing. It's like predicting the future of someone's health.
It's getting there. And we could have AI-powered virtual assistants. They could give patients personalized advice, answer questions about medications, even help schedule appointments. It's like having a 247 health advisor in your pocket.
That would be amazing, especially for people who maybe don't have easy access to healthcare.
Right. It could be a real game changer. And don't forget drug discovery. AI could analyze genomic data, clinical trial data, all that, and help us find new drug targets, predict how effective new therapies might be.
Wow. It feels like AI and FHIR servers together, they could revolutionize everything about healthcare.
I truly believe that. We're at the beginning of a whole new era. Data-driven healthcare, powered by AI, personalized, proactive, effective. That's the future we're working towards.
That's an incredible vision. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's come back to the present for a moment. What can we do today to help make this future a reality?
I think one of the biggest things is just raising awareness.
Yeah, just spreading the word.
Exactly. We need to educate healthcare professionals, policymakers, the public. Let's talk about FHIR servers, the importance of interoperability, a more connected healthcare ecosystem.
And advocate for policies that actually support the adoption of FHIR servers.
Absolutely. We need to make it easier for organizations to get on board, to share data securely and responsibly. And of course, we need to keep investing in FHIR itself. The standards, the tools, all that. It's always evolving, and we need to keep up.
It's a constantly moving target.
It is. But that's part of what makes it so exciting. And we need collaboration, developers, healthcare folks, researchers, everyone working together, sharing knowledge, tackling challenges.
It's a team effort.
Totally. And the more we collaborate, the faster we can unlock the full potential of FHIR servers to transform healthcare, to make it better for everyone.
I am so on board with that vision. This has been an incredible deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
My pleasure. It's been a great conversation.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. As we navigate this ever-changing world of healthcare, stay curious, stay informed, and let's all work together to create a future where technology empowers us to live healthier, happier lives. You know, as we've been talking about all this, about FHIR servers and this whole vision of a more connected healthcare system, I keep thinking about what it all means for, the average person, someone who's not a tech expert, not a doctor.
Yeah, that's a really important point. At the end of the day, FHIR servers, they have to make a difference in people's lives, right?
Exactly. So let's talk about that human side of this whole technological revolution. How our FHIR servers can actually change the way we experience healthcare.
Well, I think one of the most obvious changes is going to be how you interact with your doctors. With FHIR servers making it so easy to share data, you're not going to have to keep repeating your medical history every time you see a new doctor.
It's like finally having that one single medical record that follows you everywhere.
Exactly. No more filling out those endless forms or trying to remember every detail about your past treatments.
Mm.
Your doctors will have the full picture, which means better diagnoses, more personalized treatment, and hopefully better outcomes.
That's great. But it's not just about better communication, right? Fire servers can also change how healthcare is delivered.
Oh, absolutely. Think about telehealth, remote healthcare. It's exploding right now.
Yeah.
And FHIR servers are a big reason why. Because now you can have a video consultation with your doctor, share your symptoms, even get a prescription sent to your pharmacy, all through a secure platform, all thanks to FHIR servers.
So no more dragging yourself to the doctor's office when you're feeling awful.
Exactly. Telehealth can make healthcare so much more accessible, more convenient, and more affordable.
This all sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
But I also want to talk about the potential downsides. Are there any concerns we should be thinking about as fire servers become more common?
That's a smart question. Because with any new technology, there are always potential risks. One big one is privacy and security. We've talked about the safeguards built into FHIR, but there's always a chance of data breaches, of data being misused.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about how people use it.
Exactly. We need strong policies, clear procedures to make sure patient data is protected and only used for the right reasons. And patients need to understand their rights, know how to protect their own privacy.
It's a balance, right? The power of technology, but also respecting individual rights.
Absolutely. And another challenge is data overload. With all these systems connected, generating so much data, it can be tough for doctors to make sense of it all.
So it's not just about having the data, it's about knowing what to do with it.
Right. We need better tools to analyze all this data, and we need to train doctors to use those tools effectively. Otherwise, we're just drowning in information without actually improving care.
That's a good point. It's about using data responsibly, ethically, to make better decisions.
Exactly. And I think it's important to remember that technology is just a tool. It's up to us to decide how we use it, what kind of future we want to build with it.
That's a great reminder. The future of healthcare, it's not just about technology. It's about our values, our choices, what we want healthcare to be.
Well said. And I think FHIR servers, if we use them the right way, they can be a real force for good in healthcare.
I completely agree.
Mm.
This has been an amazing conversation, really eye-opening. We've learned so much about fire servers, how they work, the possibilities, the challenges.
It's been a pleasure talking about all this with you.
Likewise. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. As we move into this new world of data-driven healthcare, stay curious, keep asking questions, and let's all work together to build a future where healthcare is more connected, more personalized, and ultimately, more human.